everyone, so happy to be connected yet again for another Tune In Tuesday. And today with me are my three most beautiful people that I've connected to from various walks of life. I'm so happy to be collecting life lessons from all these three beautiful individuals. First one, I'll just tell you on a candid note, how do I know all of these three people? First one is Anusha. Anusha and me know each other from school. So I think from 8th standard onwards. So for a lot of people, yes, I know her for decades now. It's not even like years, so it's decades that we know each other. We've not been connected for a long time, but I think we've been following what each other do. And then very happy to have you with me today, Anusha. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Krupalini. It's my pleasure.
Thank you, Anusha. And quickly to tell you people what Anusha does and what kind of work has she been doing, I'll quickly read out a short profile for you. So Anusha did a short stint in the movie Simple Lagoon Love Story. She was working as a full-time counselor and then she quit her job to concentrate on her love for dance, that's Kathak. While learning and teaching, she got an opportunity to audition for a TV serial, which led to a series of serials, in fact. Subbalakshmi Samsara, Dadmane Sase, Mane Mantralaya, and Agni Sakshi in Kannada, followed by Manasichi Chudu in Telugu. She's also played major roles in movies such as Manarupa and Chitrakatha, both which released in 2019. So, which means, there's a lot to learn from Anusha. Anusha, thank you once again.
Thank you.
And the next person is Upasana. Upasana and me go back to college days where, I think we used to be in the same dance troupe. And yeah, even to this day, that group is the only group which is alive, doing a lot of things related to dance. And even to this day, we fight saying computer science versus information science. And there is those discussions which happens even now in that group. So Anusha, thank you. Upasana, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here. I know it's been a very tough schedule for you. Thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you so much. So good to see you after so long. And I still remember getting that call and the only I is stepping in that entire CS dance gang.
Yeah. For people from PES, CS and IS used to be two big groups which used to, fight out always. And Upasana was the only person from information science to actually be a part of the computer science dance team, which is a huge privilege and also probably something to say Upasana is such a good dancer.
It was an official dance team. And the IS seniors were like so surprised. Like, how did this happen?
I know. And formally to introduce Upasana for all of you guys, Upasana has actually won the title of Elite Miss India Asia. And she started her career from the Kannada industry while she completed her engineering in Bangalore. She was still a student while she actually got into this film fraternity. I should mention this. Currently, she's predominantly working in the Tamil industry. Her releases include Karthukalai Pattivusai, Traffic Ramasamy, and Shortcut. She's also won the third place in Vijay TV hit show Villa to Village. So for all of you who know Tamil, I'm sure you would have noticed that this girl is there and she does quite a lot of ads as well. Thank you so much, Upasana.
Thank you so much. Yes, so good to have you.
And the next person is one of my most favorite students, Praneeth. Praneeth was a computer science student of PESIT. If there's any faculties who've joined, probably would saying one of the most naughty, notorious guys who was there. And probably, not such a studious guy is what people actually assumed and presumed him to be. But he has done a paper presentation in one of the best conferences in Singapore with me and won the best paper for that particular topic that he presented. And I've known him for quite a lot of time. I know him as a student and I've seen his journey from an engineer towards what he's doing today. Praneeth, thank you once again for joining, and you look completely different. So people who don't recognize, that's the same Praneeth.
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much for having me, and it's really a pleasure. Thanks for calling. Yeah.
Thank you,
I'm
Praneeth.
just happy to be here.
Yeah, as a formal introduction, Praneeth has worked as a male protagonist in Yugalagite for all of you who watched it, and Agni Sakshi, two super hit Kannada serials on Colors TV. He's also been part of theatre plays like Ishwaran, which is an adaptation of Malgudi Days, and Shades of Love, which is an adaptation of a of Ruskin Bond story. He's also done many ads such as Wonderla, Granola, and name it. I think quite a lot of them. So thank you once again, Praneeth.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So we'll just get quickly started. My first question to all three of you is, Anusha, if you want to take this question first, is, I really want to know, why did you choose acting? I saw that you were a counselor and then you changed towards acting. Did it happen to you, or did you make a choice of getting into acting? How did this all happen?
Nothing was planned as such for me. I mean, I did my master's in psychology and then I got a job immediately. I was enjoying my job, but then didn't really feel the passion towards the work that I'm doing. So then I got this opportunity to continue dance. So I was like, okay, chalo, let's do that.
Okay.
And yeah, like it was just like a very smooth transition, like from dance to like acting. Like, it was nothing planned. I never went after it. Like, I got the opportunity and I took it. Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah, so there was nothing planned or anything.
So it just happened to you, right? And how long have you been in this fraternity, Anusha? You've done quite a lot of serials. So how long is this period?
Yeah. So I think Simple Love and Love Story released in 2012, which was, let's say, like by chance I did that movie because my husband was the cameraman. Then they were like, "This is a small role. Do you want to do it?" I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool. Like, no problem." But then I never wanted to get into acting. But then I started in 2016, early 2016.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's been like, what, 4 years now?
Okay. So that means 4 years and things can change. So anybody who's watching this, a message is that, you can actually get into acting anytime. There is always an opportunity. Is that
anytime?
Okay, perfect.
Definitely. As long as you want to learn, like, and you're like ready to learn, I think, yeah.
Right. So, my next question, especially to you, Upasana and Praneeth, the same question is what I'm going to be actually probably asking you guys, but add up a small component to that is you guys are PES alumni and you must have got pretty good job offers. So how did you why quit from your mainstream and then get into something like acting? How did this happen to you, Upasana? Why acting? Because I know you did it while you were still studying, but why acting? Did you not want to choose anything else? Did you not want to continue in engineering itself?
See, engineering also happened because, initial there was we never got options. It was either like now you have a lot of career option given to kids. Initially, it was either medical or engineering. That's how your parents gave it to you. So I chose engineering or, 5 years of studying or 4 years of studying. I'll go with the 4 years. So that's how I came into engineering. And yeah, like, even I've been from childhood, I've been trained into dancing, this team. So engineering, it was happening. Along with that, I got a lot of time to explore what I used to love doing. I took it professionally instead of being hobby, which has been a hobby. I converted to professional. This was like I got into professional dancing. So I had a team. We had a team where we used to perform and all of that. And the first film came because I wanted to get into acting, but I never tried it because I never thought I was cut, to say the looks or the talent. I've never tried on acting. So I never thought, maybe I'll get a click, let me go for it or not. And I knew my parents would be very skeptical on it, especially going with engineering. So I was like, okay, this is happening, along with it, let it go. There was an audition that was happening in a studio, which gave me, my friends give it a shot. So I was like, yeah, there's no harm in giving it a shot. Yeah. It happened, got through with it. I went for the first schedule. Then I said, okay, the film is actually happening. And then I went and told my parents, okay, I'm trying this and this. Because initially I was only like, maybe it will get stopped. Maybe something will happen. Because you have heard such stories, So after a while I got into it. Yeah. But then again, I had to cut through it. I got placed in IBM because of PES. PS, and then my film also had been released. So that was a tough call to take,
So
you
it
know.
was study and a job that
Yeah,
you.
yeah, a secure job. You're getting your monthly paid. Your parents are happy. They don't want you to leave. They're like, you are doing it side by side, so continue like that. But it doesn't happen that way. You can't give entire focus if you want to get into acting. You need a
Right.
lot of efforts and all of that. So that was a tough call to be taken.
Yeah.
So
So why did you still stay back there, Upasana? Why did you choose acting yet? Why did you
yeah,
give up your
so
IB?
yeah, because even though it was stable and all, I like Anusha said she was not enjoying it. I tried my work, like you say you should try everything before you say you don't like it. So I
Right.
tried it. I was 100% sure I don't like it. I cannot do that job. I have to quit it. If not, then I would have quit later. So
Right.
I took a call early and I made the decision and
Thank you so
had
much
to
for that,
convince my
Upasana.
parents with that.
Yeah, no, I think
So
this is a good message for a lot of people saying, whatever you're doing, it's not that you have to quit it and then get into acting. You can try for a while, like what Upasana is clearly saying. Give it
yeah.
a shot, try, and then shift. Is that right?
Yeah, so what worked also for me, my first film got released, and there was a great review just on my acting in Times of India, which helped me convince my parents that I know my job. I'm not doing it for the heck of it, just for the fame. So that
Right.
worked also.
Thank you so much, Upasana. Thanks for that. Praneeth, over to you. PS alumni, best paper in Singapore, and then acting. How did this all come together?
Actually, I never wanted to become an engineer, to be honest. Engineering happened just like that. And to be honest, I always wanted to become an actor, and nobody knows this. I haven't told anybody because
Right.
somewhere in me, it's like you have that fear. You tell what you want to do, and it kind of does not happen. And acting is, it's not like you tell your parents I want to become an actor at such a young age, and then they'll let you be. They're like, no, shut up and study and finish your degree, finish your studies, and then we'll see what you have to do. It's kind of a similar case with me. So I kind of got a taste of acting when I was almost 7 years old. That's when I did my first play in school. So that's when I got the first taste of acting, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So I've done a lot of plays in my school, and when I did my PU in Christ as well. And yeah, when I came to engineering, I didn't have much of the opportunities to do plays.
Yeah.
But so then again, I had dance with me. I was also I also did shows and performances as well when I was in school and Christ. So that kind of carried on more. That kind of enhanced in engineering. So I was part of the dance team and all of that. That's how I got to meet you in the first place. Before you came to our class to teach me, I knew you as the person who picked the college dance team. So I was there in that audition. So and then I was always scared that what if it doesn't work out, and because that the want you have, it's so bad that you want to do, and you also have that fear that what if this doesn't work out. So that's how engineering kind of happened. And I had a lot of other occupations in my head, like becoming a pilot also. That was just
I
like a
remember
part
that
of
too,
So for me, and coming to the paper we did, it's almost like whatever job I do, I want to do it wholeheartedly. It's not that because I've picked engineering by myself. It's like not my parents pressured me into engineering. They pressured me into doing a degree. That's a different thing. But engineering is something I picked. And I just wanted to get through with something I did. I didn't want to leave halfway. So that's how. And after engineering, I knew by end of third year, I knew I'm not going to go to any company, do any job. It was dance and event management what I got into. And then one day I quit everything. I just let me focus on acting. I went into give an audition, and it just worked out.
Super. So, there's quite a lot of people, in fact, your family and friends who've come and telling hello. And I think a lot of your own batchmates are here. I'm going to be reading out all their comments for you in some short period of time. My next thing that I really want to know is, generically for anybody who's on this call, if they are really interested to get into acting, is what is your word of advice? The reason I ask you this is a lot of parents, right, don't even allow saying, okay, I'm going to be happy having my kid work in the acting fraternity, because if they don't come from that same field, I think there's a perception about this fraternity. So how did you happen to convince your parents, or if somebody wants to convince, what is your small piece of advice that you can give them immediately over this discussion? Anusha, anything from you that you can think of?
Uh, so it wasn't easy for me as well because holding like a master's degree, my parents weren't okay with me transitioning into this. They're like, why did you have to study so much if you knew you wanted to come here, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, one piece of advice is that this industry has a lot to offer, but I think most parents, I mean, from a parent perspective, I think they're scared is because they hear a lot of things, right? Like, and failures and stuff like that is not like really easy on everybody. So I think is that like have an open mind and draw your line where it needs to be drawn for girls. I mean, in particular, yeah,
Yeah. So
that
I
would be
think
my
how do
advice.
you handle yourself, right, Anusha? It's mostly that once you
Exactly.
get
Yeah,
into the fraternity. How
yeah.
did you convince Upasana? I think real life example. How did the convincing happen? One you said was that parts of the
Yeah,
country. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Other
that was the main part. Initially, my dad was very strict, like strict to the next level. And to tell them, we had a huge drama happening. But other than that, post that, when they saw I'm continuing my studies, luckily it happened for me at that stage where I could do both, So they were okay with me not quitting engineering and then going after it, or quitting something to do. So it gave me the time frame to convince them that I'm okay with it, I'm good at it.
Yeah.
And when it got released with my work, they saw I'm good at that work, what I want to do. So it was very clear on my head. It wasn't. So that's the advice I think I'll give it. Don't do it just for the name and the fame. Do it because you love the work. It's also that. This field has a lot of option. Be sure of what you want to become. From modeling, there is not only acting, there's modeling, there's ramp walking, there's just who do ads now, there's social media. So there's a lot of options where you should know what you want to get into and how you want to go about it. So I was very pretty sure I wanted to get into films because I'd done that, and if even it's a path, that's where I wanted to become. So I was sure of what roles I want to pick. Because being a dancer, I had been offered a lot of times, the single numbers, what we call as item songs initially. I had refused even when I was paid immensely because I was sure I didn't want to do something like that. So that's something I chose to become. You have to make your choices and you should be clear in your head what you want to become and how you want to become it. I think that was very convincing for my parents. So even for parents, I think there should be advice for parents is that they should be open-minded. If you're seeing your kids doing well with it, go along with it, because I have seen my dad changing from a super strict dad to a super supportive dad. Like he's come along with me to my meetings. It's like a 360-degree change. So I think even for parents, they should be a little open-minded now, because now it's quite known that there are a lot of career options and you can do well in it if you're hardworking, and like if you have that patience to deal with it. You need to have a lot of patience to get success in this place.
So I think from what Upasana is saying, my basic takeaway is clearly understand why are you really wanting to get into this fraternity. Whoever is really interested, first thing, make your choices wisely, and once you've made your choice, you have to be patient with it, because it's not like overnight that you're going to get success or anything. You have to be patient with it and probably do what Upasana did. She did not make a choice of saying I'm going to quit this and immediately get into this, right? She I think balanced it well with her parents also, where she was balancing everything and she knew when is the right time to actually take off. Thank you for that, Upasana. Praneeth, over to you. Was it difficult to convince your parents? What's your word of advice?
I mean, I still don't think I've convinced them completely because they're still very skeptical about it. I did not. I mean, I first of all, I did not tell my parents that I was doing a serial. I told them when it was almost 1 week when the episode was going to air, is
Right.
when they got to know that I went and showed them my promo and like, this is my promo. I'm gonna act in the serial.
Okay.
Yeah, no, because they're kind of well. So the basic perception about film industry is like, as in, you see it as an outsider,
Right.
and as all, and film industry does it, or not all film industry have the best of reputations. It has its bad side also, and many people hear about it, and I think that's what parents are most scared of.
Yeah.
That but it's not all bad. You have good also, and it's about, again, what Upasana said. I'll come back to that. It's about how you choose the things, how, what you want to do, what you want to be, how you want to portray yourself. It's about choosing your roles, what kind of roles you want to do. Like she said, she was given a lot of money to do like single numbers, and she didn't pick. So that's a choice she made.
Right.
Had she had made the choice of the other thing, it would have been a lot different for her. So
Right.
again, it comes back to the choices you make in the industry, the what kind of an actor you want to be.
Yeah.
So, and of course, you, just because you want it, you won't get it. Like, you have
Right.
to be patient with what you get,
Yeah.
and choose, do you want to do it or not. So
Right.
that's very important. And I think with my parents is most like, they have that, it's, for me, it's like, just give me some time, be patient, I know what I'm doing. It's just having confidence in yourself as well, your ability
Right.
to know that you're going to do something. See,
Yeah.
that's at the end of the day, the parents want the child to be
Right.
happy, and to succeed in their whatever field they choose. That's
Right.
it. And so the basic is, you need to know, you need to be sure of yourself, that
Yeah.
you're confident in what you're doing, you're absolutely sure you can do well in whatever you're doing, and you're confident moving forward that
Got it.
everything's going to be okay. And
Yeah.
once you convey that to your parents, I think they will be
Yeah.
supportive of you.
I think my takeaway from what Praneeth is saying to what Anusha and Upasana had already mentioned is most important of, I think that's what was the message that the other two girls also said, saying, know what do you really want. I think that's really, really important. And yes, probably because this field is so much in the media, people assume it's only here that there's bad and there is good also. That's not the case. It's there everywhere in every fraternity. It's just that because I think the media is so attached to this particular fraternity, people, this tends to come out most often. But I'm sure if you go and dig deeper everywhere else, like what media does with this fraternity, if they do it with others, I'm sure the stories are going to look more or less the same. Thank you for that, Praneeth. So Anusha, over to you. See, I think as humans, Anusha, a lot of times what happens is we want people to tell us how good we are, right? Like, probably, I start something, I want people to like it, I want people to say, wow, this is very nice. There's always a want for external validation. And I'm sure with the fraternity that you're already in, Anusha, it's all led by TRPs and the number of fans and how many people really like you and don't like you. How was it that you go? What is your word of advice for any of us normal people from what you've learned, Anusha, saying how can we not look for external validation, or is it good to look for external validation? What have you learned in life? What do you feel?
So the thing about external validation, it's not just this industry, right? Like anywhere, like let's say if you're into coding or something, like you'd want your manager to say like you're good. I think,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Yes,
I'm
yeah,
not from
right.
that field, but
Anywhere,
yeah,
anywhere, yeah, correct.
anywhere, like you'd need that, right? But then in this industry, what matters is that you know your skill, you know how you look, it's not really required from, I mean, you get a lot of negative stuff from the outside over here, like especially if you're a newcomer. People, I don't want to use the word trash you, but they say mean things.
Right,
But it's also depending on like how you take those things. Like if you want to take it, then you'd never be able to move forward.
right,
So as long as you feel that you're good and you know you're here to stay and you're here to learn and you
right,
can do, like, that's the internal validation, that's all that you need.
right, right.
So yeah, that is important. And external validation, when I say, I think I would need like an external validation from the people that were really close to me. Nobody else like really matters. Like
Right.
my family or like my first circle of friends,
Yeah.
they can always like tell me positive or negative things.
Right.
So you take that the way you want. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
I think this is something that we all as humans actually can start practicing, because no which other fraternity can teach us this much more than what you guys go through, especially with so much of external validation, and it's always in the media, you're always there. So what Anusha is clearly specifying that we can all take back from here is, yes, you need external validation, but not from throughout the world. Probably the entire world will never love you, and that's the case
Yeah.
whatever you do, right? So you need to really know who are those people that you really want that validation from, and most importantly, you should have that internal validation. That's what is the message that I get from what Anusha
Yeah.
said. Is that right, Anusha?
Also, yeah, that's right. But I also think that unless and until like you love yourself, like if people don't see the way that you love yourself, I don't think people
Right.
will respect and love you the way you do it for yourself, right? Like, are you getting the point? Like,
I'm getting it. Yeah,
as
yeah.
long as like yeah, you're positive about yourself,
Yes.
nobody else can. I mean, you're like a mirror to them, right?
Very true.
So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
think it starts from within. So you have to accept yourself. You have to say, okay, this is my strengths, these are my weaknesses. I know this is who I am, but I know how to stand for myself. And the moment you do
yeah.
that, I'm sure the way that the world behaves will also change. Thank you so much for those wonderful words, Anusha. Upasana, what is your trick? How do you manage external validation?
So in our field, you need different kinds of validation. So if it's just my skills and acting, I don't need the validation from the entire world. Maybe, like she said, from your close circle, my friends, my parents, or whom I'm working for. Basically, the director who is directing me, is he okay with the kind of work I'm doing? But in the films, there's also another validation you need as an actor is acceptance, not just your acting thing. Just because we go to see a particular film because we like the actor.
Right.
He might not be a superhero or super acting skills or not, but we just like that. Like in Hindi industry, we have Salman Khan. Whatever he does, people go and watch him.
Right.
Just the love and acceptance. So that's one kind of acceptance we expect from audience. We might not get it, eventually. Yet you have to build that thing, and that depends on you, because that's like she said, that's when your own skills is what you are dependent on, how
Right.
you're working it and how you're progressing with your skills and getting accepted is a different thing. But I don't think on my acting skills, I'm asking every person how do you think I did it and all of that.
Right.
But yeah, from a general audience perspective view, I think I like people come and watch my films and how they feel about it. So that's kind of acceptance.
It's probably like a good to have that people will
Yeah.
accept you and say, okay, I'm gonna go. It's like a proper fan following. But I think what Anusha is Upasana is clearly saying is, choose your circle wisely. Who's going to validate? It probably is your director. It probably is somebody else in the acting fraternity. And I think for humans like us, it's a message to take back, saying which one should actually affect you, which one should not affect you. You make a choice of saying, these are people who mean something to me, and probably I'll take it from these guys. And then the rest of the world, you're allowed to say it, but how much will I really soak in is left to me. Is that right,
Yeah,
Upasana?
that's true, because now in social media world, everyone's saying something or the other. It's just free and open to anyone. They can just write and say anything. So I think you shouldn't get affected both ways, even if they're like praising you full on, or even they're like
Right.
demotivating you.
Yeah.
You should have your own balance in your head. You know where you stand.
Right.
So it can't. They can't lift you to the next level. They can't pull you back to the next level. Only then you will be able to go on your path.
Got it.
So I
So
think that's
that's the only way that probably you can continue to grow and to
Yeah.
work as well. Thank you, Upasana. Praneeth, over to you. How do you manage external validation?
I mean, both of them have said everything that is there to say, but yeah, I'll just say certain things. Actually, we live in a world where we need validation. For example, say Facebook, you always see how many likes you've got, or Instagram, how many likes you've got. So everybody are there, like whatever I do, you want to be appreciated,
Right.
and that also affects on how you work. How you work in the field.
Yeah.
So in our fraternity, yeah, validation is super important when it comes to your act. Yeah. So for example, you act and a lot of people like it. That's resonated with the producers, the directors, and everyone. Like people like that person for whatever so and so reason, maybe acting skills, maybe style, or whatever it is, X and Y reason. So that validation is gone to the directors and producers, and you get more work because of it. There are also things. What happens is there's also negative critiques that happen, that you get thrashed on social media because it's an open place where people write anything and everything they want. And it also affects your, if you go read bad statements about yourself and you're thinking that, oh my god, I'm not doing a job well, and your mood is off the entire day. So it's like the previous day and something. So it really does affect how you do, but it's about, again, how you take it as a person, as an actor in this industry. It's like if it's a negative comment or whatever you've got, okay, so it's your attitude that matters a lot. Saying that, okay, there's a negative comment about me, okay, say there are 100 negative comments, so what am I do about it? Do I sit and cry about it, or do I make myself better? Or there's also another side where you're getting so many positive comments. Do you become lazy that, oh, I'm good enough, I don't have to do anything, I don't have to work hard to maintain this level, or something like that. So it's all how you take those comments and whatever it comes. But validation, again, when it comes down to it, yes, it matters for you as a person. It matters most when you get validation from the closest, who you want it from most, your directors, your peers, your family, your closest of friends. And when they give you a positive validation, then yes, you move in a more positive way forward. Again, that's your circle, as like both Upasana and Anusha had put it. So it's just, I'm just like compiling whatever.
No, I'm sure, Praneeth, because I think, you did have the essence of what both these girls already mentioned. But I also saw what you said, saying, take it as a critic to improve you, right? Saying you saw so much that people are saying all these things. It's not necessary that it's all not at all required. Probably there's some learning opportunity there. So use that as an opportunity to grow than to pull yourself down. Thank you, Praneeth. Thanks for those nice words that you shared. And to the rest of the audience who are watching us, there's quite a lot of people who are actually watching us. Please go ahead and put your comments if you have anything, or if you want to ask them questions, please go ahead and put it there. I'm going to be asking all your questions to them. I did see already 2-3 questions coming in. Just give me some time. Once we're done with the regular questions, I'm going to take off all your questions. And there's a lot of friends. Carolyn says hi to you, Anusha. I think she's here.
Hi.
And then there's a lot of, I think, Carmelites who are also around. And then I saw a couple of PES people, Amulya, Nisha, all these people joining in. And I'm not sure which batch they are from. So whichever batch that they're from. So we will probably take all their comments in some time. The next thing that I want to know from all three of you, especially, a lot of times what happens is, this was one topic that I've seen a lot of people writing back to me saying, I fear failure. There's a lot of fear of failure that we all sit with as humans. And I'm sure your projects are very short span, right? Your failure or success is, I think it changes like very, very quickly. The time attached to it is very, very short. How do you people manage fear of failure? Do you get scared or do you get worried? What is your way of managing this failure? How do you see failure itself? And then how do you say, okay, this failed, I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and I'm going to make it better? Is that true? Or what really runs in your mind when there's a failure which comes in your way? Anusha, do you want to start off with that question?
Okay, so I think to some extent, failures in this field has sort of made me thick-skinned, I guess. So it happens like initially, and then it really doesn't like affect me that much. I'm like, okay, if this didn't work out for me, okay, tomorrow I know that I'm good. I might get like another. I'm not being boastful, but at least out of like 100 probably projects that are happening, I might suit at least 2, right? So I can speak about failure because I was meant to play a lead of one of the serials, and after two, trailers and everything, and 10 episodes being shot, I was replaced, and there was no reason given for replacement. So you don't know how to like take this because I was so new into this field, and then I was like, am I like really bad?
Right.
I had that element of doubt, like am I so bad that they had to replace me, or did I look like a person who was not willing to learn on
Yeah.
the go, right? Because
Yeah.
any field for that matter, it's all about learning. You keep learning on the go, like every different project gives you something new to learn. So I was like, did I come across as a person who cannot learn? Like, was I so bad? So it took me, like, after being thrown out of the project, it took me like, I think, good 2 months, and I'm so thankful I had my friends with me, my friends and family, like, to like really back me and be like, you know what, it's okay, like,
Yeah.
because I think I felt like on my face, like, this was like my biggest failure. I had never been replaced, like, even in school, though I was
Right.
like an average student, or through college average student, like I never failed in anything per se.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this was like a shocker for me. So I think it took me some time, but then over a period of time I have learned that these are not failures.
Hmm.
If something goes away, I always get something better,
Right.
and
Right.
that has been proof for me. Like, I lost that, but then I got so many serials to like play a part of,
Right.
and I was really happy. I was like, okay, that went,
Right.
that door was closed. I had like million other doors that opened up to me.
Right.
So, and then I got to learn so many different things, meet so many new people. So failures, I mean, this industry has made me thick skin. So I'm not
Yeah.
speaking for both all of us,
No, no,
but
I'm
yeah, for
sure,
me it has.
Anusha.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm taking back from what you said today, Anusha, is first thing is, when you fail, you're only failing in that small role. Doesn't mean that you don't fit into this world. Like she said, there are 100 options. Probably you fail
Yeah.
in 98 is okay, but you're going to be perfect in the other two. Make your
Yeah.
choices very, very wisely. So wait
Yeah.
for those right two options to come to you. And then the second thing that she also said is, I think failure is not like a best friend only to a couple of people in the world and everybody else is successful. No, everybody goes through failure. There's no one who's spared from it. So, like she said, it's normal for all of us to fail. It's normal to fall on our face, but take time with your family and friends, and once you come back, you'll actually start seeing the brighter side of that failure. You'll actually start seeing, like what Anusha told very clearly, saying because she failed, she learned quite a lot of things. So yeah, failure is not something that we all have to run away from.
Yeah.
Allow
And
it.
it's also seen, sorry, but it's also seen as a very negative thing to fail
Right.
in. Like, we've been taught that, a
Yes.
failure is very negative. Like, somehow I just, like, I don't understand, like, why even as kids we've been taught that, even on marks cards we've been written fail, fail, fail. Like,
Yeah.
those are not the things that you instill into like anybody. Like, you fail,
Yeah.
okay, fine, you just fail. Like, come on,
Very.
you can always like get up and like be a stronger person, and you can do much better. Like, I
Right.
think it's how we've been wired, I think,
Yeah.
about failure
And
being
also I think
negative.
it's
Yeah,
it's very momentary. Whatever that result
exactly. Yeah,
is only for that 1 minute, for that one task, does
yeah,
not mean that you as a person is a failure. Is that true,
yeah,
Anusha? Yeah,
correct.
got it.
You
Yeah.
don't fail your entire life just because you fail like one small element,
Yeah. And when you
right?
actually failed, you also felt like, okay, everything is actually fallen apart. And that's also normal, right?
That's
But
also
you,
normal.
yeah,
Yes.
but you take time and you gradually get better. Thank you for
Yeah,
those wonderful words, Anusha. Upasana,
yeah.
over to you. How do you manage the fear of failure?
I still don't know. But initially, I think the failures used to take a lot of effect on me because you don't know how the journey is going to go. You are at a completely new place. You don't know people around to help you. You don't know whom to ask and whom to trust, basically, who will give you the right guidance. So the failure that time was more like, people took you for a ride. They gave you wrong advices. And it was then you were like, so for me, like I said, my movie happened with the first film, everything just worked well. So
Right.
post the reviews were good for me, but after that I was expecting things to happen which didn't happen. So I took a reverse turn and I went into modeling. Then I went into Elite Miss India and all of that. And I went to initially, before I went into the Miss India competition, I tried in Kannada industry a couple of times, and then I saw a very different phase or face of the industry. It's not that easy to get in. It's not that easy to get any role. So failure was more of those rejections that kept happening. That's when you end up questioning yourself. You're getting rejected. Are you good at what you do? What happened? Was it just that one-time luck or something like that? Right. So initially, yeah, it was a little difficult, but you need, like she said, you need to keep going. And if you believe in yourself, you have to. One thing is you have to work hard on yourself. You have to keep improving. You have to keep learning, and you have to improvise your talents and I keep going about it. Now, since it's worked for a while, I can say, yeah, it's okay. For me, now I can take it, project wise. This is done. It's a fresh start now. Now I can do that phase. But initially, I think that the rejection used to cause a lot of failure. And yeah, more or less that. And now if your hard work doesn't pay off, it's a momentary failure. You are sad. It's a natural human thing,
Right.
If something you work so hard for, you have put in all your effort and it still doesn't work, but that's not in your hand. You have done your job, so that's all you can do, So
again, to just summarize what Upasana is clearly specifying here is, and let me tell you, I know what Upasana is as a person personally. She does not belong to Karnataka for her to even say, okay, she's actually a Kannadiga, neither a Tamilian. She's actually from Bengal. And now she's got into this fraternity without any backup, without any support. She had a super success in a Kannada movie initially. And then she did see rejections, which we can probably call it just as failures of that minute. And if she had given up then the rest of it wouldn't have happened. She kept trying, she kept saying, okay, there's something that's going to come in the future. And beautifully, I think she clearly specified saying, look at that particular project. At that project, you're successful or you're failing is only about that particular project. It has nothing more to do with it. And all that you can do is give it your 100%. And after that's been done, don't worry about what really comes out as the results. Is that right, Upasana?
Yeah. Because your result is not in your hands, the only thing you can do is your work. So that's all you can. And other thing is, when you fail at something, keep trying to improve on other things, which will help you to get it. Like if I was just trying for films, maybe I would have got stuck. So I went into modeling. That's a step down. So I went into modeling. I did all of that, and then I came back to the path which I wanted to come to.
Right. So I think that's beautifully told for all of us to take back. I'm probably going to be making notes of all these things and then sharing later, saying, these are lessons that we all have to learn. I'm going to write a separate post on this. Thank you so much, Upasana. Praneeth, over to you. External validation we spoke about, and then we are talking about failure. How do you manage failure, Praneeth? What runs in your mind?
I mean, the first time I ever faced failure, I think I was in Christ when I failed a couple of subjects in my thing. But then later on, even in engineering, probably nobody in the right mind would think I would complete engineering in 4 years, because I have literally failed almost every, except a couple of semesters I have failed subjects in all, like so many semesters, but it also it's just learning at the end of the day. If you failed at something, it's just that what you did wrong and what you can be better at, or you now what you shouldn't be doing when you fail at something. And one more thing, like when it comes to this industry, I got my role in Yuga Gita audition very easily, actually, because I just fit the part and I fit the role. I didn't know anything about acting. I hadn't trained or anything. But after a couple of months, as we said, external validation, people looked at the comments that was coming on social media, the channel, my producers, and there were a lot of hate comments saying that okay, he does not know how to act, he looks like a baby, he doesn't fit the role, he's a terrible actor, etc., etc., etc. And once I'm shooting, and suddenly I get a call from my producer saying that what are you doing? If you don't act better, or you don't learn, or you don't do anything, you're going to be replaced. That's the call I
Right.
get, and the channel is not supporting all of
Right.
that. And I have to be very, very, very
That's a
grateful
very
for my
scary moment, right? This is
that I
similar to,
was
people being put on performance improvement programs in corporate, saying you're almost losing your job.
I freaked out after I got the call. Then I get a call from my casting agent saying, "Hey, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Why aren't you performing well? Why aren't you, like, is there anything? Aren't they treating you well on set?
Yeah.
Aren't they doing this? Aren't they doing that?" So I'm saying no, that everything's fine. And then he's like, "Then what's your problem in performing well?" And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, because at the time, whatever I had, my knowledge of acting, I was, in my head, I was giving my best.
Right.
And but to the outside world, it's like it's not good enough.
Hmm.
And when I freaked out, and I'm like, what do I do now? And I'm like, so from then on, I'm like, okay, I need to become more serious. I need to put 10 times more effort than what others maybe for others it might come easily, but for you, being in that part, if there are people telling you you aren't doing well, so you go back saying what you aren't doing well. Okay.
Right.
And you work on those things. That's what I did. I worked on my voice. There used to be a long drive from my house to my set. This be 1 hour in the morning where I worked on my vocals. I
Yeah.
worked on my expression. I used to look at videos, and I went to acting classes after that.
Yeah.
And yeah, one thing, I have to be really, really, really grateful for my producers for not replacing me during that time. They had that confidence. They put a foot down, saying that no, we want to go with him, he
Hmm.
will do well. And I'm very grateful to my producers. I
Right.
thank them, like, from the bottom of my heart. I know, like Anusha said, she got replaced. I could have been in her position.
Right.
And I honestly wouldn't know what to do after that if that would
Yeah.
have happened. I know how dreadful it is. For me, it was like I'm almost there, you
Yeah.
know. So and I was like very dreadful.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, again, failures are a part and parcel of life.
Right.
it's
Right.
it's just that what you do with them. What if you want to
Right.
do, become better at something, become better. There's nobody that can stop you from becoming better.
Right. Yeah.
It's just you yourself. You are the one who stops yourself from doing it. Your mental headspace where you are from one failure. If you think you are a complete failure, then yeah, you are your biggest enemy.
Yeah. So I think, to summarize from what Praneeth is saying and what the rest of us on this call really believe is 100% failure is normal. All of us go through it. It's not like it's only meant for a few and a few of them can escape. We will all go through it. It's only about looking at it as an opportunity to grow. And there is no way that anybody in this world can say, I cannot come out of this. It looks very dark in that particular minute, but you only have to keep putting effort so that you start moving towards light. And what they're saying today, now to say it, it's very easy, but imagine how much pain, how much of emotional imbalance actually goes in at that minute. But what you see is success after that, what they've all come out with, and they're all successful with what they're doing. Thank you so much for that, Praneeth. Anusha, I'm again coming back to you, saying, yes, we spoke about failures, but the second part of acting, right, is there's so much limelight on you guys. And I think the celebrity status is given. How is it that your people stay grounded? How is it possible to become normal? Because a lot of us, right, when we become successful, Anusha, it's like it gets into your head. How do you not let it get into your head? We spoke about the negative side, but tell me, I think even this is too much of anything is bad. So I'm just trying to understand, how do you people manage too much of love and too much of celebrity status? How do you keep yourself grounded?
The love is always appreciated, the kind of support that we get. Like, there are these for serials, I will speak, there are these serial fan pages that they give
Right.
so much love, and they're like, this serial, this episode was like fantastic, and that love is always appreciated. But people who know me on a personal front know that I'm very awkward around like compliments. Like I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, okay, thanks, yeah, fine, yeah. I'm not like, hey, thank you, like
Yeah.
I want to do that, but then I'm like with my friends, like I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, hi, okay, thanks, yeah, okay. I'm like that, like I'm very awkward, I think. And how do you stay? Like, what is the celebrity status? I don't understand. Like, we're all like people at the end of the day. I think we are just doing our jobs, and then we are just like on TV or on big screens or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what is the celebrity status, because I think everybody in their own field have some people have some limelight, right? Like you're good at some job, like you have some limelight. So I don't know the celebrity status. Also, I think if a celebrity status is given, I get very grounded the moment I come home. Like I do all the chores at home. Like there is nothing like
Right.
I nothing spared. Like I have to do
Yeah.
everything at home.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just looks glamorous, but it's just job for us. Yeah, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
So if you look at it
yeah,
like regular jobs, which means to say, like how failure can happen, this also can happen, which is very momentary. And then
yeah.
you say hello, yeah, nice, thank you, fine, and then move on with it. Don't let it affect you. That's what is your trick, Anusha. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a parcel of our job, I think. Like,
I think it's because
I
of your
don't know, it
psychology
never.
background in masters. You say that. I want to know from the other two people, saying how do they manage this? So, Pasna, over to you. How do you manage this? Yeah, how do you
Um,
manage that immense amount of love? Because I know you don't get any hate messages. Unlike the rest of the world, I know you don't get it.
I think I love the fact that I've been lucky, touchwood, whatever it is, that I didn't get any hate or negative messages or any kind of bad comments, I'll say. But like Anusha said, even I don't know how to react. Initially you're not used to it. Like I'll tell you an incident which happened, especially in Chennai. I used to walk to my gym. It's quite close. It was after I finished my reality show, so I'm with a hoodie and I'm walking, and there's a girl jumping, screaming, man, and I'm like, what happened? Did I do something wrong? It's the way she reacted was like she's met Shahrukh. I'm like, I'm like, okay, calm down. I had to like literally hold her hand, like make, and she's in the middle of the road where I'm crossing, and I didn't know why she's reacting like that. I was like literally holding her hand and making her calm down, and I don't think I will react looking at someone superstar. So it was very touching and embarrassing at the same moment, because you don't know, you're not used to such a thing, someone showing so much love and respect or whatever you say. And the way she reacted and she started jumping, clicking pictures, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that I take so much effect on people. But the moment, like the moment you come back, your parents says, then like go and get your work done, and you're back to your normal life. Because when you go to shoot and all, I think that's for everyone. You have your assistant, someone's doing your hair, someone's doing your makeup, someone's carrying stuff for you, someone's getting your food ready. You have all, you just have to focus on your work. That's how at least actors' life works on the sets. But as soon as you come back home, at least my parents keep me well grounded. Like even there are moments like, Mom, I'm heroine, I'm not doing this and all, just for the fun. And she's like, it's not working at home. Please go finish your work. So she makes sure I do my basic work at least. I don't have to
So
take.
probably it's the personal people who are keeping you grounded. Is that right, Upasna? Yeah, I think we lost her there. So I'll come back to her. Praneeth, over to you, Praneeth. How do you stay grounded?
Yeah, again, it's my parents and my friends. I mean, you spend some time with them, you know that all the celebrity, the star status is nothing. You're just at home doing work, as even Anusha said. Like
Yeah.
there'll be like my mom used to watch all my episodes and she's not missed a single one. My dad now and then watch 2 episodes. Hey, you're like, okay, fine. You're not some big star and all. And I'll be like, what? I've done. I mean, I've done so much, and so many people. I get so much messages and all of that. Yeah, I'm very grateful for the people who still message me for watching. You gotta get it. What 3-4 years years back. I still get messages saying, "Oh, we miss you seeing on screen," and all of that stuff. What are you doing next? And all of that. And that's so sweet, and that's like, that also is like how grateful you are to be a part of this industry and to receive so much love. And that parents works for me, parents and friends. Like in friends also, always when you go out with friends, they are never like, oh my god, they don't treat you like a celebrity, they treat you like, come, go, do this, do that. I know you're a celebrity outside, but for us, you're still a friend. Just
right. So I think it's about, be grateful for those moments, saying yes, something good really happened. But after that, just come back to like what Upasana was saying. I think in her story, what she was really trying to connect to, saying, remember, you're just a human being. Like how that human being was jumping for you, probably, another day, you might like something or anything of that kind. It's just a human emotion, and don't let that really affect you and get into your head, because the cycle, and I'm sure especially in their fraternity, they know it really well. They know what that cycle is. So I'm going to take a couple of questions which is from the audience before I move on to the rest of the questions that I want to ask you. There's this one question, any of you can take this, saying, what is your view on apps like TikTok and Instagram, whereby post videos and pics make them think that they're superstars, and the attitude that comes with it? Is it justified?
Oh, I am quite against it. So
okay.
I am not very fond of TikTok, especially if they start calling. I mean, not if you're doing it for fun, that's pretty cool and all of that. Right. It was very weird when they start thinking them as superstar and valid actors, because they were lip syncing to it. I get they're emoting and enacting things, but they were doing was lip syncing. Right. And the issue was when I started seeing casting calls saying, send me your dub smash and TikTok videos as your audition tapes. So which was like, I was like, how can you even take that as your audition tapes? Which was not ever validated acting. So that was something. If you do it for fun, yeah, go ahead. That gives you, I think you get paid after some followers or something, or some sponsor. I don't know how it works, but that's also okay. But if you're validating for as an actor's thing as an audition, that doesn't work.
Right, because I think the ball game is completely different than acting, right? It's not like just lip syncing and just sitting in front of a phone and doing it. There's another question which was also here. I think, Upasana, this question is directly to you. Saying, my question is to Upasana, ma'am, why didn't you try in Bengali films, Tollywood, as it is now at its peak with awesome movies coming out?
So I have rarely stayed in Bengal. I've stayed only for a year. So any industry you need to work for, you actually need to stay. I mean, live in the city. Like if I'm working currently in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, so I have to live here. I shifted my base from Bangalore to Chennai. So it was very difficult for me to go and stay there. That's the only reason I didn't try.
Right. Anusha, there's one question specifically for you, saying, Anu, how do you handle negativity and pressure of staying in the industry? There's a constant pressure around from family and peers. So how do you still say, no, I'm going to go back and get into acting when the family and everybody else is saying otherwise?
I really didn't get the question.
I think I'll read this question again. So what she says is, Anu, how do you handle negativity and pressure of staying in the industry in spite of having constant pressure around you from family and peers? Do you have it? I'm not sure. I think this was specially asked to you.
No, I mean, how do I handle negativity? I mean, I think at some point you just learn to like just deal with it and do what you love to do. That's all.
Right. And I think most important for people who don't know, her husband also is in the same fraternity. So I don't think she has too much to manage with the family. I think she gets that support because he is also there. So yeah, let's
I mean, everybody supports me, and it's really a chill thing for me right now. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So let's move on to some more questions. I know that there are quite a lot of questions. I'm going to be taking them in quite some time. So let's just finish off a couple more questions before we go ahead. Where was that I wanted to ask you? I've also been told about that you people have bizarre schedules, like 20 hours in a day at times, and at times there's absolutely no work days. How do you people manage your personal and professional time? Do you even manage it, or is there something saying, no, my life is my work? Is that how it is? Or if if there's ways that you probably follow, if you can share it with us, we will all learn and probably start trying it for ourselves. So how do you manage that bizarre time zones? Anusha, do you want to take that question?
Yeah, sure. Initially when I started, I never knew the concept that they would like ever shoot for like more than like 12 hours in a day. Like where I've gone on days like where I haven't had sleep. So yeah, like initially I wouldn't say anything, because the moment you say something, you become a bad person, right? Like, ಇಲ್ಲ ನಂಗೆ I have different work, ನಂಗೆ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, they're like, oh, you shouldn't have chosen this field. This was probably not cut out for you. Like you hear things like this that people say. Like, if you say that I have to go back home to a family, they'll be like, oh, then you shouldn't do this.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's important to like figure out like how much you want to like manage your personal and professional life. Like I think at some point I learned to put my foot down and say I want to work beyond this time, because you're just taken for granted. The moment I think you're a nice person is equal to a person who works for long hours. Bad person is who'll put their foot down and say, Swami, ನಂಗೆ 7 ಗಂಟೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, is a bad person. So that is how at least the serial industry works.
No, that's how even the corporate is, Anusha. There was also an ad which came out recently saying somebody packing his bag on time and going, and people just sitting in office and working forever. It's assumed.
Half-day video.
Yeah, it's assumed and presumed, saying people who sit in office and hatch eggs are people who are much more hardworking. So go ahead.
I think I just like learned to put my foot down at some point of time. I mean, I do oblige. It's not that I never work beyond a certain point. Like, I need to be informed beforehand, because see, I have a family to take care of, and like I need time for myself. Right. So at least give me like, okay, at least call me a few hours before and tell me that, Madam, it's going to be late. Then I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Like I can manage, though I'll be really like irritated through the day, but still like I try to like oblige. But I think at some point you need to tell that you can't work beyond a certain, because as an actor your face is what is seen on the screen. Right. They make you work for 20 hours straight, give you like 4 hours of sleep, and then ask you to work back. I mean, it's your face, like it's all puffed up, and then I don't know. Rest and exercise and food and all is also important for us. We are also human beings.
Anusha, I just want to ask you this follow-up question. Because you learned to say no, right? Did you actually lose a lot of opportunities? Because I think that's the fear most of us have. Saying, okay, see, I know I want to draw a line, but I'm scared if I say no, I lose everything. Is that true, Anusha? Is that true in your case?
Yeah, I became a bad person. I didn't lose anything, but I became a bad person. So how it works is the industry is small, right? Word goes from one place to another. They say things like, oh, ಅವ್ರೇನ್ ಕೆಲಸನೇ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬರ್ತಾರೆ 9 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ 5 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ, which is probably not even true. Like if they call me at 7, I'm always there at 7. So chumma like some random things also get passed around. So you become a bad person if you don't work for long hours. I think.
And I'm sure, it still does not matter, because you really know from your side what is it that you really want. And we spoke enough about external validation, right? Unless it comes from the right person and that person's giving it to you as a feedback, you don't have to worry about it. The rest of it, you don't have to try pleasing the entire world and continue doing it. Is that right?
You don't have to please anybody, but imagine just for saying no, you get like a label. And the label gets so bad that it goes around. Even though you have performance, you have skills, you are a nice person, you are a sweet person, you talk to everybody in a nice manner. Word goes out saying that she's a bad person because she doesn't agree to work beyond a certain point of time, which is not fair in a way, right? Like for nobody. I mean, why is your personal life not like a priority or what? Like, I don't understand.
I think this is a learning for all the managers and all the people from your fraternity also, saying,
Nobody learns.
Nobody will learn. Over to you, Fasila. What is your take on this? How do you manage time?
I think for me, like I don't have much of personal life, so it works for me. But like Anusha was saying, if you don't want to work beyond, it's not that you don't want to work. A lot of time, what happens is you go to the set, you're called for a certain amount of time. We work on call sheets, so if it's like the morning call sheet or the evening or the night, we are informed beforehand, and a lot of time what happens, we are called, we are there on time, we are worked, but they waste your time. The entire day would have gone, you're just waiting for your one shot, because some issues, or they are doing it with some other actors, or they would have changed the shooting schedule of that day. And then when you're about to go home, when it's time for pack up, they made you sit for the entire day. They want you to extend and stay. That's when I get pissed off that you should have utilized my time. So that's, if you say a no to something like that, then it becomes she's not very adjusting to do it. All of that happens.
Especially when you're new in the industry.
Especially when you are new, that's when you cannot put your foot down. You will lose your job. It's not you lose your job. It's like she said, the word of mouth will spread, and people will be skeptical to work with you. You have got your name, then it's fine. She works in these rules, we want to work with her, then it's fine. You can go ahead and do that. And the balance between personal and professional life, it's going to take a while in this industry. I'm going to say that initially it's going to be very difficult. You have to give your 100%. Your personal life is going to be this, but once you've got your foothold, you need to learn how you can manage both. For me, it's initially, since I started from college and post that, for me it was all okay. I was ready to work 48 hours. I was ready. Initially I was doing double shifts because of my job and this. So once I quit, it was more easier for me. I was able to give my 100% to it. And I don't have much of personal life, in the sense I am not a very party person. I don't feel like going out and having a party, or going out and chilling. For me, you give me a break, I'll sleep throughout, catch up, go back to Bangalore, catch up with my friends. That's the chill life I want to have. Other than that, you ask me to work 48 hours, I'm okay to work with it. Per se, you don't waste my time once I'm going there. Don't make me come and sit there for a thing. Make me work. Utilize the time of working.
I think, for all of us who are listening, from what Upasana had mentioned earlier to now, that I think she's okay to work for 48 hours and beyond is because she really loves her job. So I think that's where the difference really lies. Saying, a lot of us complain saying, I'm not finding that space. And probably the reason that Upasana does not complain is because she's fallen in love with her job so much that for her passion, her work, and her personal life is all the same. Is that true?
That's true. That's my priority one.
Right.
So that's why it works.
If you're struggling at your job and you're not able to balance, the best way is fall in love with it, or probably this is not the place that you really have to be, whichever is that job that you're in. Praneeth, over to you. What is your take on this?
I mean, for me, I used to there was an entire year of my Yuvala Geeta where I slept like 3 to 4 hours a day. That's it.
Yes.
Because my schedule was 7 to 8:30, 9.
Right.
And I used to travel like it used to Bangalore traffic. And for me, it's like almost 20 kilometers, like one end of the city to another end.
Right.
So the traveling time also incorporated, and I just slept like 3-4 hours a day. Yeah. I did not have a social life at all, and I couldn't dance as well. It's like either if there's no acting, I would be dancing,
right?
Or but yeah, even I don't go to parties. I don't smoke. I don't drink. So it works out for me. For me, if like on a day off, I sit at home, watch movies, play games online. So that's what I do. And for me, it's like I love everything about the film industry. I love the process of shooting, making videos and entertaining people. And that's what I'm in love. So as Upasana said, if you're in love with it, you can do it for 48 hours. But also the fact of the matter is, you can't do it for 48 hours. There's something known as body fatigue. Like my mom says that you just say your dialogues, you come back home. What do you do? Like the entire day I used to be on set. My mom tells me you just go stand there, say dialogues, come back. It's mentally very taxing.
Yeah.
Right.
No one realizes it. There was a point where I was doing a scene almost in the middle of the night after an entire day of shoot. and I couldn't remember my dialogues. I couldn't say it. You tell me the dialogues on my face, I forget. It's like I had a memory of 5 seconds right there at that point of time. It's just fatigue that comes in. Like you can't do it after a certain point. And you need to factor that as well. Your body does need rest. You need to take care of yourself.
I think it's a reality check for all of us who are listening to this conversation, saying, guys, it's not very hunky dory and only celebrities always partying just because you're in the movie fraternity. They also get tired, and probably all that they're doing is taking rest. And they're doing their regular household chores. Just because they are in that fraternity does not mean that they're just partying all the time. Thank you for that, Pranit. I think you summarized.
Also, I'd like to add upon this thing something that crossed my mind. So now, in the beginning of a career, when we say we are okay to work for 48 hours, like Upasana said, that's my life, right? That's a priority. Right. What happens is that that's expected out of her throughout.
Right.
You were not like this before is a thing that happened to me also. Initially, I used to work and it used to never bother me. But at some point when it bothered me, they'd be like, you were not like this when you initially started off. Like, this is, you used to work for a lot more hours. Like, it's very important to, I think, whether you have whether you're party or whatever, I think it's important to have a personal time for yourself to recover, to replenish.
Right.
We need to revive, right? We need to come back a little bit. Otherwise, it's very, very, very draining.
Very difficult. Yeah.
What she's saying is true. You cannot keep working for 48 hours forever. But the initial days you have those strength to go on. But no one stays same throughout the career, right? Even in the corporate world, as a junior, you might be working as physical workload a lot. As a manager, you can't expect the same level of work, right? So by your experience, I think you have the whole to say, no, now I need my time and body rest. And like he said, with the body fatigue, you can't. After a point, you really can't.
Right.
And the mental, you can't even emote out what you want to. And this, the thing people forget is, we might be going a lot through personally, emotionally, at a house you don't know. I might not be well. I have, I might have fever, but I'm still doing a song and getting drenched in the rain. No one can see that on camera, right? So those things, because it happened with me. I had got 102 degrees fever and I had to be in Ooty. And because everyone's there, I can't say I have fever, I am taking off today. We don't have that luxury. If you're scheduled for that, you have 102 fever, you have 104 fever, you pop your pills and you work.
Right. Yeah. So they'll be like, we'll get the doctor to you, but you have to work. Right. You cannot say no.
Reality check for sure for a lot of us who are listening to this conversation.
Also, to those people who think that we can just go to set and rest, no, you're not. We are not allowed to sleep on set, because when you sleep, you get that puffy eyes, and that'll be very visible on screen. The first thing they told me as an actor, you cannot sleep on set. Right. Because for us, for serial artists, it was close up. Everything is close up. Yes. And your eyes looks puffed up when after you just wake up from sleep. So you are not allowed to rest.
My God, it's like sleep deprived.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question is something that I am really keen on understanding is a lot. I'm sure you've all played multiple roles with different parts that you've taken, either in movie or as an ad, or it could be in terms of the serials that you've worked with. Is there something that stays back with you when you take up that role? Like, let's say you played a particular role and you came out of it. Is there anything that you feel, okay, it's changed you as a person? Does it stay back with you, or is it like, no, I know how to cut it off there and then move forward? Because I'm sure a lot of people assume, I know Anusha has done a negative role. People start assuming, saying, okay, she's a very bad person by herself, but we all know personally how she is, right? Is there anything like an essence that stays back in you because you played that role? Just want to understand how does it run in the actor's mind? What happens, Anusha?
No, I mean, thankfully, I haven't carried anything with the roles that I've played, because with the positive roles comes a lot of crying. So I do not want that in my life. But I think I have learned how to like be in character and snap out of it the moment, they say cut. So yeah, to learn from any of the characters, I don't know. Like your positive roles are like so positive. Like, come on, human beings, but still, yeah, they're very positive. Negative roles are like completely negative. I'm like, where's the gray matter?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, uh, it's just the moment. You enjoy the moment and you get out of it.
Right, right. Thank you, Anusha. What is your
Yeah.
take on this, Upasana? Do you take
Uh,
something back? Does it stay back
so
in you?
it doesn't stay back because you want it to stay back. I'll say if it's like a very serious, intriguing part, it stays back without you realizing it. Especially if you're shooting for a very long time. I'm not saying the entire character stays back, but what happened? Like I said, I was my last release was a film which was a little based on Trapped. I was locked in a room for an entire 10-15, and we were shooting in the same house, staying in the same house, and it was a single artist movie, so there's no hero in that. So what happens is entire time you're shooting that frame of mind. You're in that frame of mind. When I shot that and the shoot had a break and I was still in that frame of like someone's going to torture me, or like I need to break out of this. You're in that mental state. It's not that I've taken the character with me, but I'm not able to, because that was a little what do you say, little isolated, serious kind of a thing
Right.
which got in your head. But if it's
Right.
like a normal character, a heroine who just walks in, I think I can easily snap in and snap out. That doesn't take a toll on your mental health, because you don't have to. I'm not going to be singing in the rain to do in natural life. So obviously, I can't take a character who's like I'm walking out and someone's following, I'm giggling and all of that. It doesn't happen that way. So like Anusha said, I don't think the character, but I think we grow with the experience from every set to set.
Right.
Everyone has a different experience of working with every director, producer, the team you're working with. So I think what I take in is the experience from every individual, learn from them. This team worked like this, or the other team worked in a very different way. So adaptability to that is important. I think as of now, the character snapping and snap out has been quite fine with me
Got
until
it.
you're taking like that mental.
Yeah, so I think this is like two perspectives that I've heard. What is it with you, Praneeth? How do you manage? Does it stay with you or is it gone?
No, at first when I started off, the because I played one character for such a long time, what happened was I used to like behave like that character with the other people on set, like even though I'm not giving a shot. So it kind of happened that way because I was playing that character for such a long time. But it never happened with people outside the set, and maybe also because I didn't meet a lot of people. I used to shoot, say, 15 to 20 days a month, and the rest of the time I've been sitting at home,
Yeah.
resting, and yeah. So only with that character I felt that I had like kind of uh, not been myself.
Yeah.
But other than that, one thing, theater, when you do theater, you also learn to get in and out of a character. The first thing that I was taught was when you come in, like when you're given a script or whatever you say, when you come in, you wear the suit of the character, and make sure when you're leaving, you remove the suit and you go. Don't take the character back home with you.
Right.
So that's the first thing we are taught.
Yeah.
When it
And
comes to
I
theater.
think this is a message for even the rest of us who act or who don't act. I think it's to do with when you step out to do your work, or let's say you're doing work from home today, do that work at that minute. Your manager shouting and screaming at you or something is not gone fine, don't bring it back home. It's about your profession is there, finish it there, leave it outside your doorstep. I remember Nimmi also mentioning this last time when she was on a conversation where we spoke about nursing. She said the moment I remove my dress and my entire attire that I've worn as a nurse, it stops there. The very next minute I become Nimi. But till then, I am working just like that because I have my protocols and everything else to follow, which is something that I think all of us have to learn, and something that it's something which affects your personal life a lot, probably your anger at home is not to do with what your family is doing. It could be because you're playing that role of whatever you're doing with your work, bringing it back here. Follow the tips from all these three actors, and I'm sure it's going to help.
Yeah, when you put it that way, it feels like everybody's acting in their life. So you are one person when you're going to work, you are one person when you're at home. So make sure like you don't mix a lot of both.
Right. It's just that people assume acting is being somebody only as actors. You be somebody, no. But I'm sure every role that we play is also like that. As a mother, how I would treat to a person, how I would talk to my subordinate, to a person if I'm talking from the NGOs, all three different things. I'm not acting, but I'm moving from one role to the other role to the other role. It's about drop that, like what Praneeth, Upasana, and Anusha said. Learn to snap in and snap out. If you don't learn that, that's when you carry baggages. Thank you so much for that wonderful message that all three of you gave. I'm going to take a couple more questions from the audience which has come here. Anusha, this question is for you from Amrita Kashinath. She says, Anusha, as an actor, what according to you is the biggest challenge to be strong during these times as we are all facing a pandemic? Also, as audience, is there something we should expect and not expect from actors during these times?
Wow, Amrita. So, during these times, I think we should just go with the flow. I think, I don't know, like take on our roles in our houses,
Right.
play the housewife, I guess, and do all the work. Yeah, but what is the other question that came along with it?
She said, also as audience, is there something we should expect and not expect from actors during these times?
I mean, generally, you don't, I don't know, like some people from actors, they expect them to be the way they are on screen generally, like otherwise also like for example, like I was telling you earlier today, like people thought that, those two kids were mine. I mean,
You should
we leave the
you
role.
should probably tell the audience about this particular thing that you mentioned, Anusha.
Yeah. So in one of the serials that I played a mother of twin girls. So small twin girls, anyhow. And I went to a friend's engagement party and I saw her grandmother, and her grandmother recognized because I think someone told her that I was there. She caught hold of me and she's like, "Yeah, you don't look like a mother of two kids." And I was like, Aji, they're not my kids, I play the role, but it's I know for a fact that there are a lot of people who call me and tell me that I will help you find someone because I'll be looking for someone in the serial. Like they find our number or they get on through Instagram or Facebook and they're like, they'll find. So yeah, like what you expect as an audience, I think is just that, we are just characters that we're portraying and we're just other people who like to do regular people stuff other times.
Right.
Thank you, Amrita, for that question.
Yeah. I think there were a couple more questions. My phone, some technical issues, so I'll just fix that. I'll come back to what we were talking about. Probably Praneeth, you can take this question first and then we go on the round robin. Is, let's say you were talking to your younger self today, Praneeth, and, you're giving advice to that younger self of yours, saying, okay, Praneeth, you're entering into acting. These are my top 3 advices that you have to keep in your mind, right? What are those advices you would give to your younger self, to somebody who's getting into the acting fraternity? The reason I ask this, Praneeth, is I'm assuming there will be a lot of people who really want to get into acting. Probably this message might be something that they take back as well. So what are your top 3 advices to your younger self?
My first advice would be get into acting as soon as you can, and start early is one very big advice I would like to give myself, because if to go back and say, I wouldn't have wasted I wouldn't say waste, but I wouldn't have done the 4 years of engineering, to be honest, if I'd be very honest with myself. I would have loved to utilize that 4 years to learn more of acting and the filmmaking process. So that's one place where I felt I need to tell myself. The second thing is just love what you do. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's I still do that. I don't know why would I tell that to my younger self. You know? Second thing is, yes, there will be a lot of people. They want like don't listen to anything and everything that people tell you about the film industry. Like experience it for yourself, and then unless and until you have someone like a godfather or somebody in the industry who's telling you what to do, what not to do, do not believe a single word that any person says. Do not.
Got it.
Because there are a lot of people who will tell you so many things, and your own experience will be a lot different
Right.
from what people tell you. Again, it comes down to the perception of how what people think of the film industry is before and after. So my
Right.
perception itself is has changed a lot. Like sometimes it was also like, oh my god, like they're stars, people are so famous, they look so cool all the time.
Right.
They do this, they get to do such cool stuff, they get to play so many characters, because I love to do so many things.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I get to live in different people's shoes, and that's so exciting, that's so
Yeah.
amazing. And that's why I love acting. And it's not because of again, at that first I thought it was all just the fame, just the partying, just the thing, but that does not excite me now.
Right.
That's different. And it comes down to also that, okay, we also get tired. It's just not all glamour that you
Right.
see. That there's so much thing that happens. Like you take an app, there's so much that happens on the back end, and the UI is completely different.
Right. Right.
That's the same in film
With acting
industry.
as well.
There is
Right.
1,000 lines of code that goes on, 1,000 hours of prep that goes
Right.
on into making. Then there is editing that happens that gives you the UI, and then you are presented what you're looking at. So yeah,
Got
there is that background process that happens, and
Yeah.
you need to fall in love with that
Yeah.
to love acting. If you
Right.
fall in love with the UI itself, then
Then it doesn't work. It
that
can't be
doesn't
just
work.
the hunky
Yeah,
dory things, right?
the process isn't complete.
Perfect. Got that, Praneeth. How about you, Anusha? What's your advice to your younger self?
Yeah, like Praneeth said, I think I would want to like start early. Like, I think I started very late for the film industry. Yeah, the second thing that I would probably tell myself is that always have like do not quit something, like including projects, right? Like have a project, do it, let it get aired for a while, and then you quit your other project if you want. That is something that stuck with me for a very long time now.
Right.
And yeah, I think the third thing that I would tell my younger self and now is to manage finances, because our projects are very short lived. And yeah, and you never know, today it might be going like full force, tomorrow they might just like wind up and they'll be like, okay, tata, bye bye.
Right.
What
Right.
will you do then? Like,
Yeah.
so always have like a financial thing, I guess. Like those are the three main things that I would tell my younger self. Probably tell that to myself even now.
Perfect. Got that, Anusha. Over to you, Fasna.
Yeah.
What is it that you would tell your younger self? It's very interesting to know because these are new things that I'm hearing from both of them. What is your advice to your younger self?
I think mostly they have said what I want to say is the same thing. I think we all want to start early, and once you have decided, I'll say do your research well. You know,
Right.
like he was saying, you know, the industry, how it looks and how it's from inside is very different. So make
Right.
sure you do your research well on how you want to go about it and what you want to do, and listen to all the advices but never take it, because there'll be thousands of people telling you shit and thousands of people promising you they'll make you the star of the world if you do this, if you do that. So just listen to everybody and follow your heart, because if you know what you want to do, just keep hearing and, you know, keep on doing your own work, or else you will, because if I tell you my journey is this way, it might not be necessary your journey is going to be the same, you know. You might not have experienced whatever, and you might have a journey which gave you fame a lot more faster than I got, or maybe you will have it much later than I got. but it depends on your perseverance over the journey and how much you like it to go
Right.
about it.
No two
So I
journeys
think
are
that,
the same anywhere.
yeah, anywhere. So it cannot be. So anyone, if someone tells you, this is going viral, you also do it, you will also become viral. It will not happen, because something has become viral, you cannot copy it and become viral again. So it's not happening, because there's a lot of people will tell you a lot of things, but make sure, I'll say, stick to your principles while doing what you want to do. Once you compromise on it, you won't be able to face and go ahead. Nothing will give you what you want to do because someone's promised you. There'll be a lot of fake promises, of a lot of, you need to know which people to deal how. Be careful with a lot of people. Make
Right.
sure the promises that you are in your safe zone when you're doing it. However you are taking the
Whatever
thing,
you're
and whatever you do. And other thing is, don't be too desperate to get the work. Always sure, like, in my mind, whenever someone gave me a very odd offer or wrong offer, I always said, I'll quit. I have my engineering degree, I'll go back. I never want to go back. I never would have gone back. But just for my mental peace, I can keep telling that to myself. I have something to go back to. I don't need to go against my principle or something that I don't want to do and go ahead and make my career, because just because someone's telling me and I'm not getting anything else, I have to jump into it.
Right.
And yeah, like Anusha said, I think your finances are very important. There'll be a month, maybe in a day you will earn a lot more than your friends are earning in throughout a month, and there'll be 6 months that you're not earning at all.
Right.
Initially, so it's going to be very, very unstable finances, and that's for every time in this field. Till even if you're the superstar, that's going to keep happening. Even when you're working a lot, you might be paid in like a lot, and immediately when you fall, there'll be a nil balance, and you'll have a lot of loans to pay back. So yeah, keep your finances always on check.
I think what all three of you mentioned was so much from the heart that, I don't think there was anything that you people tried hiding. And this is the reality that you really showed the audience.
I wanted to just add one more thing where it's so also to tell myself that it's okay to let go of opportunities. Sometimes you feel that you will, like, if I don't do this, I'm not going to get in, because the first role I got, I had to let it go.
Right.
And then I got Yugal Agithe, because Yugal Agithe wasn't my first role. The role I got was for some small role of like a lead's sister's brother or something of that sort. And it was very hard for me to let that go, because at first in my mind it's like, this opportunity won't come again, and I don't have anybody in the industry who is rooting for me, and etc. Who is pushing me to do this, or who's telling me that, okay, I will produce you, or I will bring you to do this, do X, Y, and Z. So it's okay to let a few opportunities go, but again, don't give up on your dreams, on your hopes, on because if you want to be in this field, you are there. Like for me, it's like, I want to be here.
Right.
That's all. And I'm okay to let certain opportunities go to get certain better ones.
No, I think that's so beautifully articulated by all three of you, right? This is really what happens in that particular fraternity, and I'm sure I could derive every line out of it and show an exact match in the other fraternities, but because of lack of time, I didn't do it. But this is what is true. This is what we all have to do, right? It's not like you're going to have a constant income anywhere, and especially during COVID, all of us have learned it. So learn to manage your finances really, really well. So I'm going to take a couple of audience questions which has come in. It's again left to any of you to make a choice, or if you're not commenting is also okay. Somebody here is saying, what are your opinions on the content of Kannada films and serials these days?
No, go ahead, Praneeth.
Honest, I mean, I'll be very honest and open about it. I honestly do not like it, except for a very few movies that are coming right now, which are content oriented. Apart from that, I feel Kannada industry isn't, for some reason, for me, I see a lot of this. It's saying like it's mostly producers come down to producers' mentality. I guess I agree. They, at the end of the day, they're putting in money, they're putting in their finances, they want to get back. But the content, I feel they need to work on it a lot more. And I think the audience is getting more smarter.
Yeah.
And they want more content oriented, like thought provoking content, and content that evokes real emotion, and it's not just like a no brainer thing that they want to see. Because again, Upasana works in Tamil industry, even Anusha has experience of working in other industry, and you also see movies of other industry, and people still love it. It's cinema at the end of the day. It's cinema, it's TV shows, and you can come up with good and great content. And it's just my it's just like an asking for producers to please promote good writing and good
Yeah, good
content,
content.
produce good content, and don't stick to some formulas that you think are going to work for and tried and tested. But there are actually no formula. There people think there's a formula, but there isn't. For TV serials, they really think there is one single formula for for viewership, but honestly there isn't. You cannot say one movie will be a hit or one serial will be a hit or a flop. You cannot.
Right.
People predict that. The people love their support, and their wanting to watch makes that happen. It's not a fixed formula that works.
Right.
You know?
Right. Got it,
Yeah.
Pranit.
Also,
Yeah.
yeah,
Anush.
what I was thinking is, when you take Kannada films per se, it's very difficult to have a particular nativity, because every 100 kilometers our language changes, the dialect changes, right?
Right.
So if you see in comparison with Tamil or Malayalam cinemas, they show nativity very well.
Right.
It's very raw. It's
Yeah.
very difficult to show it that way, because what you probably do as like a Mandya based movie might not work in Mangalore,
Correct.
right? So it is difficult to also make a movie, I think, like for all the whole of Karnataka. And then we have been divided as a mass, a single screen theater thing, and then there is this multiplex audience. So we are like so distinctively divided. And I'm sorry, I see very few people watching Kannada movies, probably because of the content, or they don't want to watch Kannada movies, or but there has been a drastic improvement, at least to a certain extent, with the movies. So yeah, I think our industry is moving, but yeah, there is a lot of scope and opportunity also for it to give opportunity and make better stuff also. Yeah.
Right. So I think there are two perspectives. That was not two perspectives. I think two ways that the same question was answered. So I hope that answers your question, Sindhu Venkatesh. Thank you for asking. There's another question here. I think there's too many parts added to it, but whichever you want to address, please go ahead and take it. So this person says there's caste couching, there is nepotism and politics going on. What are the things that we should avoid, and how do you tackle these situations?
It's going on in every industry. It's just that it's known in this industry. How you tackle it, it depends on you. I'll say that. It's just heard too many cases in this industry, but I think even in corporate world, we have heard stories of casting couch, nepotism. All of that is happening. Nepotism is something you can't deal with. It's happening everywhere. Today, just for example, if I work hard, or like Anusha is quite known in the industry now, and she has a kid, she won't say her kid to go struggle again. She will try her best to give her whatever the benefit she has got from learning from the industry. I think that's how it works, and we can't help that. Anyone who's working in, if someone's built a business, he won't tell his son to go again build another business. He's going to just hand it over to the person, not to the manager who's been working for 48 years. So yeah, you have to keep working hard to fight with that. I don't know how you can.
Not that it's only in your fraternity, right? Is there a different opinion from you, Anusha or Praneeth? Anything that you guys want to share?
Um, I mean, yeah, even I've heard so many about casting couch and nepotism. I've like it's now it's mostly on the news, nepotism especially on the news because of Sushant's after the incident. Um, yeah, I mean, like what Upasana said, it's there, but also it's also hard for people from the outside to get in. Also, I mean, for it's the basic fact that you feel it's unfair for some people to already have a contact or an into the industry where you have to work from the ground up. But then again, it's also true that their father has worked so hard
Right.
to come into the industry, and he obviously would want to make it easier for the children. Now when you establish yourself, obviously your kid would it becomes for your kid as well in a way, and it's also on you. You have chosen the industry where again you don't have, where your parents aren't does not have a foothold.
Yeah,
You
and
know, they
I
do not.
think, a good message also to take away is none of these three people who are on this call have become successful because they had godfathers or because they had their parents working in the same fraternity. No, I think they all made name for themselves and they are continuing to do it. So that's a good message also to saying yes, even if it exists in all fraternities. It's not just in their fraternity. Like I said initially, because of media being so attached to that particular field, it looks like it's only there. It's there everywhere. It's just about what do you make as a conscious choice and how much effort you put. Anusha, you
Yeah,
had
and
anything to add?
nepotism is something you can't help, right? It's not in
Right,
your hands. So, like
right,
you said, it is an unfair thing, especially on the start of the race. Like it said, for them, the race has already begun. We are 100 meters behind. But
right.
you really can't help it. You have to work faster to catch up that
Yeah,
100 meters. It's
yeah.
not something, it's
That you
luck.
can change. Yeah, right.
Because
Yeah.
I have personally felt that because I mean, I wouldn't want to take the person's name, but
Name.
there was a junior, I mean, in my school and my college, those who know, and he is like famous celebrities, he or she is one of the famous celebrities kid, and very easily they got a chance in
Right,
films, and I'm like, that's so unfair.
right,
I'm here like trying to get into serials first and then into movies and
right,
X, Y, and Z, and want to get into the film industry. And I'm just saying, like, yeah, it wasn't fair, but also that I accept that this is my journey.
right,
I am not that person. I know
right.
I don't have my dad, but
Yeah,
if it was, it would have been different. But then
right.
again, this is my journey, and this is how I have to go about it.
Yeah.
I can, yeah, at the end of the day, I can feel bad about it, but I need to do something about it as well, right?
Yes.
I
Very.
cannot sit quiet. I cannot be like, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
No, I know I can be better.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it connects back to what we initially spoke, right? Saying it's all about just yourself, irrespective of which field you are in. It's about how much do you want to grow, how much effort do you really want to put in, and how do you manage success and failure. With that, I think, that summarizes everything. Anusha, did you have anything else to add to this?
Yeah, so what I was thinking is when we talk about like nepotism and like star kids getting like better opportunities or bigger opportunities and stuff like that, what is unfair over here would be that talent is not given value.
Right. Right.
You have talent. Or I'm not saying like all star kids don't have talent. That is not what I mean. Like
Hmm.
what I'm saying is also like let others grow. Like our industry is such that it goes like this. Like the
Yeah.
ones with a little bit of a backing, like sort of like go a little more above and beyond, I guess. And
Yeah.
the ones are struggling, it takes a little while longer.
Hmm.
And the thing about casting couch is that there's a sector of them who are willing,
Hmm.
and then there's the other side who are unwilling. So
Right.
it's just given that like everybody wants to do it and everybody is willing to do it, so why not ask?
Yeah.
because they don't know which side do you belong to, right?
Right.
So
Right.
that does exist, but if you have to grow, I don't know if that's the way or like not. Like, I don't know.
Right.
Like,
It's always a choice,
yeah,
right, Anusha? In
it's
everything,
always
I
a
think
choice.
it's
Yeah,
always a choice.
And it's not necessary
always a
if you
choice.
do that, you will
You will be
get the work.
successful also.
I
You
don't
will.
think so.
Right.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
don't
It's
know
not.
how you
It's not
feel.
given.
It's
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
it is assumed that people who do that grow, right? Like at some point,
Right.
they
yeah.
think
Yeah.
that,
People, yeah.
that's how you grow. Like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
which
So
is not how you see
yeah.
talent, right?
No, I
Like, I
think
don't
it's as simple as you took your car out of your parking lot. You decide if you're going to drive right or left. It's your choice. It's like
know.
that.
Choice.
So
Yeah.
everything is
Yeah.
by the end of it. What is it that you choose to do? But does it exist? Like they said, yes, it does. And they also say that it is not just in their field. It exists everywhere else. It's just that because of the media, you know about what happens there, and the choice is always in your hand. Nothing gives you the formula of permanent success. And
Yeah.
even when you become successful, there is a possibility that you come down and the cycle continues. And that's exactly what they were trying to say throughout this conversation. So with that, we come to the end of our conversation. Thank you so much for your time. I think we overshot our time because of all the questions which was coming in. Thank you once again for being here and for sharing your life lessons. Hope you guys enjoyed being a part of this conversation.
Eh,
Upasana, any closing thoughts from your side before we end? Anything?
what was it? Just go there, be yourself, enjoy. If you really want to go and be an actor, like I said, fall in love with what you want to do and not the glamour side of it. You really need to work hard to be what you want. And yeah, know what you want to become, initially, like Praneeth was saying, he gave up on few roles because he wanted to be the lead. He knew he wanted to be the. I have done the same thing. I gave up on few roles because I knew. But it's okay if you want to just be an actor and take up the small roles and take that journey. Also, a lot of my friends have done that, and then they have also come up because currently, initially, you had a lot of thing of being stereotyped of if she's doing a sister role, she'll get sister role only because that used to happen. Currently, a lot of directors are taking the chances and giving a lot of side characters or comedy artists are coming up and being hero, at least in this Tamil industry is what I'm speaking about. So choose your journey, to know what you want to do, and yeah, follow your heart and do what you want.
Yay! Thank you so much for that, Upasana. Over to you, Praneeth, your closing thoughts. I hope
Uh,
you enjoyed being a part of this
Oh,
conversation.
I love being a part of this conversation. I mean, I can talk the entire night on acting and what my experiences are in this field. But yeah, generally, I would like to say to people who want to choose this field or any field,
Right.
it's from what I want to say is it's just you.
Yeah.
It's all you, yourself, your individual. Don't let anybody say you can or cannot do a particular thing. You want to do something in a particular field, go and do it. I mean, don't let anybody pull you down. Don't let and don't put you down yourself. Have that self confidence also, and have that confidence that you can become better. You can be the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can strive for it at least, like
Yeah.
in any field, whatever field you might choose. You want to choose acting, become an actor.
Yeah.
Try to be the best actor
Yes.
there is. That's all. Yeah, as Upasana said, fall in love with your craft, fall in love with what you do, fall in love with your work, and that will give you the immense satisfaction. Because I love every single thing. It's just not acting. I love the film making process itself, and I'm fallen in so much love with it. But like, I want to do anything and everything. I want to learn more. I want to learn all the processes.
Yeah.
So that's how much I love this field. And yes, it has its negatives, but I still choose to see what the positives out of it, and I want to become better at like deliver the best entertainment to people in whatever I do. Yeah.
Very happy, Praneeth. Thank you so much for those nice thoughts, and thank you for your time once again. Over to you, Anusha. What do you have to say? What are your closing thoughts?
So first of all, thank you, Krupalini, for arranging this meet. I think apart from us just going live, we had so many inputs and so many thoughts that we could exchange with each other, coming from similar, like like she came from Tamil industry, he's from the same industry as mine, and there's so much that we could discuss. Yeah. Apart from that, what I'd like to say is that this industry has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
Am I stuck?
No. We can hear you, Anusha.
Okay. I think all of you were so still. I was like,
no, you're just watching, listening to you.
Yeah.
Even when I was saying, I felt you guys were stuck, but then again, I just realized you were
There
listening
was
to what I was
absolutely no movement. I'm so sorry. I just for a moment thought that my internet was going down or something. Anyhow, so what I was trying to say is that this industry has a lot to offer. The thing that you need mostly is patience. How much of a patience you have is just not enough sometimes. You just have got to be patient and like wait for what you want.
Right.
And learn at every step, because learning doesn't end. So you learn from everybody, like from everybody on set, like learn. And as an actor, I think your observation skills of other people is also very important, like for you to understand acting at a different level. So adapt and grow and have fun, because acting is just fun at the end of the day. It's something that's beautiful. Yeah. And thank you, Krupalini, again from all of us. Thank you for arranging
Thank you,
Thank
Anusha.
you.
So much
Yeah.
I mean,
fun.
it was great. I'm very grateful to be a part of this live, and very grateful to hear thoughts of Upasana and Anusha. And thank you so much, ma'am, for having me in this live.
No
I'm
problem,
very,
Pranita.
very
It's
grateful.
been a pleasure to have all three of you and to know so much from the perspective that you mentioned. It was wonderful to see that there was so much common in between your field and the rest of the fields. And it was also nice to see that there's so much of uniqueness in your field which does not exist anywhere else. So people can really make a choice of getting into acting, and like they beautifully mentioned about so many life lessons that they've learned. I hope all of us have learned with them today. And thank you once again for giving me your time. It means a lot for all three of you to come and do this for me. So thank you once again. So until we meet again, bye-bye. And the next week, we're going to have something fantastic. I'm going to be sending you people another poster telling you what's going to happen. Until we meet again,
Oh.
bye-bye.
Yeah,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye. See you. Bye.